This video highlights some of the new features in Sitka's Evergreen 3.1. Sitka's Evergreen is now accessed via a web browser. You no longer need to download and install a staff client application. Sitka's new Evergreen web client is only supported in Google Chrome. You must use Chrome to log into Evergreen, so make sure you have Chrome installed on all of your staff computers. In Google Chrome, you will navigate to Sitka's Evergreen login page. The new web client looks and functions much like the old staff client. Menus and some workflows are consistent with prior versions. You will notice changes to cataloging procedures and local preferences configuration, plus modern browser functionality, which is incorporated into all aspects of Evergreen. The new web client is responsive to device and screen size and will look different on different sized devices. We recommend that you set the staff client URL as your browser homepage and use Chrome's bookmark feature to make a bookmark toolbar. This is Sitka's custom home page. You can reach this page at any time by clicking on the Home button. The first box here will allow you to do a basic catalog search. The links here will take you to the checkout interface or the check-in interface. You can also search for patron by name. And then the admin links on the side are for Sitka's documentation, Sitka support, and the patron deletion tool. Staff news will display any important news and announcements. Now let's take a look at some new features. Evergreen will now honor the time zone of the Circ library. Evergreen will display day granular due dates in the circulating library's time zone, which means libraries in non-Pacific time zones will see due dates ending at 23:59 p.m. Libraries in non-Pacific time zone no longer need to adjust computer time to server time zone, and a whole day of the client time is marked closed when marking a single or multiple dates closed on the closed dates editor. Now we will look at new features in the circulation module. First, we'll look at patron search. You can now search for patrons by birth date. You can search by year, month, or day. Patron account status is now indicated with colored text. Black text means that everything is okay. Red text will indicate an issue, and you can see it further down in the summary. This patron is expired, or you'll see fines owed, or wherever there's an issue, you'll get red text. Now we will discuss user buckets. Back on the patron search screen, you will see a new button called Add to Bucket. User buckets allow staff to batch edit specific fields in patron records. Patrons can be added to a user bucket from the patron search screen. Just choose the patrons that you want to add and select Add to Bucket. You can add to a new bucket or to an existing bucket. Patrons can also be added to a user bucket from the user bucket interface. Just click on Circulation and select User Buckets. Batch modifications made in user buckets can be rolled back or reversed, with the exception of batch changes to statistical categories. Back to the patron search, we can see in the patron summary here that the patron email address is clickable. The patron's email address is now a mail to link, so it can be clicked to send an email to the patron if you have this configured in your mail client. The next new feature is email checkout receipts. This feature allows patrons to receive checkout receipts through email at the circulation desk and in the Evergreen self-checkout interface. Patrons need to opt in to receive email receipts by default, and they must have an email address in their account. If the patron has opted to receive email checkout receipts by default, an envelope icon representing email will appear next to the receipt options in the checkout screen. If the patron has not opted into email receipts, a printer icon representing a physical receipt appears instead. The Quick Receipt option allows staff to stay in the patron account after completing the transaction. Staff can click Quick Receipt and the default checkout receipt option will be triggered. An email will be sent or the receipt will print out. Alternatively, staff can click Done to trigger the default checkout receipt and close out the patron account. The email receipt option will always be disabled if the patron account does not have an email address. New notice columns have been added to the Items Out screen. 2 new columns indicating the number of circulation notifications generated for a given loan and the date of the most recent notification are added to Items Out screen in the patron record. These columns will allow circulation staff to better respond to patron questions about whether they were sent a notification about an overdue item. A new library setting called Exclude Courtesy Notices from Patron Items Out Notices Count is added to allow libraries to choose whether to exclude courtesy notices in these fields. A new patron billing statement has been added to the Bills interface. A patron billing statement, which summarizes a patron's bills, credits, and payments, is added to the full details screen. Libraries may choose to allow staff to retrieve a few recently viewed patron accounts. To do so, libraries need to set up a new library setting called Number of Retrievable Recent Patrons. Once done, an entry called Retrieve Recent Patrons will show in the circulation menu. Maple has been set up to allow 5 recent patrons, so we can see the 5 most recently viewed patrons in this interface. Now we will talk about copy alerts and suppression of copy alerts. Copy alerts allow library staff to add customized alert messages to copies. The copy alerts will appear when a specific event takes place, such as when the copy is checked in, checked out, or renewed. Copy alerts can be temporary or persistent. For example, this one here, spine is ripped route to cataloging. Once this one's routed to cataloging, it could be cleared. Just click clear and then OK and continue. Copy alerts can be added via the volume copy creator on the check-in screen, the checkout screen, and the items out screen. Copy alerts can be managed on the item status page. Libraries may choose to suppress certain types of copy alerts via the copy alert suppression page under local admin. There are a few new features related to holds. First, you can now do a patron search from the Place Hold screen. A new patron search link has been added for staff to retrieve patrons via name and other information rather than relying on barcode alone. You can now place multiple title or meta record holds at once. This feature is especially beneficial for book clubs and reading groups, which need to place holds on multiple copies of a title. When placing a title or a meta record hold, a number of copies field will display for these users. If you're placing a copy or volume hold, this drop-down will not display. This feature does not change the way in which the system fills holds. The multiple holds will fill in the same way that they would if the user had placed multiple holds separately. A new library setting called Maximum Number of Duplicate Holds Allowed controls the maximum number displayed in the drop-down. Users now have the option to suspend a hold at the same time they place the hold. The Place Hold screen has a checkbox that can be enabled for users who want to suspend a hold at the time it is placed. There is also an option to set the activation date at the same time. This option is also available when placing batch holds on a batch of titles from my list and will apply to all the titles in the batch. There is a new feature which allows for alternate patron to pick up a hold. When an on-hold item is being checked out to another patron, not the requester, on the prompt there is a new checkbox allowing staff to cancel the hold during the checkout. If the borrower is picking up the item on behalf of the requester, you can select the checkbox to cancel the hold. However, such canceled holds are not counted as fulfilled. If you track fulfilled hold statistics, Co-op support suggests you check out the item to the requester only. There is a new library setting, Clear Hold when another patron checks out item, to allow libraries to choose whether the cancel hold checkbox is selected by default. You can now scope holds by pickup library on the View Holds interface. Staff can choose to view holds picked up at all branches of a library system or all libraries in a federation. Previously, staff could only choose to view holds picked up at a selected library branch or all Sitka libraries. There are changes to cataloging procedures in Sitka's Evergreen 3.1. Let's look at the volume copy editor. The volume copy editor appears when editing or creating volumes and copies. You can also access the volume copy editor from Holdings View or from the Item Status interface by choosing Edit Items in the Actions menu. The volume information appears at the top of the screen, and the item attributes appear at the bottom of the screen. There are two buttons, Hide Volume Copy Details and Hide Copy Attributes, which can be used to hide the volume information or hide the copy information to give you more screen space while you're working. To add multiple volumes for the same library, you can use the little arrows in the volumes box to add multiple volumes. To add multiple copies, you can use the little arrow buttons to add extra copies in the copy information. Whenever you click up, it will add a field for another barcode. A new Working Copies tab allows you to add multiple copies that do not share the same item attributes. After you type in the barcodes, you'll see the items are displayed under Working Copies. You can select if both of the items share all the same attributes. You can just select those attributes and then save and exit. If the two copies have different attributes, you can select the first one and assign the appropriate attributes. So for example, I want to make the first one reference and put it in my on display location. And once I've made my selections, I can just click Store Selected. Then I can choose the second copy and assign the attributes for that. And this one I want to not be reference, and I'm going to put it Adult Nonfiction and Store Selected. I can see my two completed copies, and I can just save and exit. The Working Copies feature will be most beneficial to multi-branch libraries that are doing centralized cataloging. The Web Client Serials module has a new unified interface that combines ideas from both the serial control view and the alternate serials control view from the old staff client. The new serials interface can be accessed from the record summary page via a serials drop-down menu. You'll find a new serials administration menu under Administration. This allows you to set up serial copy templates and prediction pattern templates. Now we will take a look at new features in the catalog. The shelving location filter now displays on the advanced search page when a search is scoped to a library system, not just an individual branch. If a library system is selected as the search library, the shelving location limiter will display any shelving location that is owned by the selected system or by the consortium. It will not display shelving locations owned by the child branches. You'll have to choose a child branch to see their individual shelving locations. Evergreen now highlights search terms on the catalog's main search results page, the record details page, and intermediate pages such as meta-record grouped results pages. The highlighting search terms will help users determine why a particular record or set of records was retrieved. And you can disable the highlighting from the record details screen or from the main search results screen. Another exciting new feature is clickable copy locations. You may now add a URL to a shelving location in the Copy Locations editor. This shelving location will display as a link in the catalog summary display. This link can be useful for retrieving maps or other directions to the copy location to aid users in finding material. Sitka's Evergreen My Account is mostly the same. There's one new feature, which is a new checkbox allowing patrons to opt in to receive email receipts by default. Patrons can find this checkbox when they're logged into My Account under Notification Preferences. It's Email Checkout Receipts by default. Now we will discuss Reports. Reports has been moved out of Local Admin and is now found in the main Administration menu. Just click Administration and select Reports. A new search form appears along the top of the reports interface for searching report templates. Once found, template actions like cloning or creating new reports are available from within the results interface. Searches may be performed across selected folders or all folders owned by or shared with the logged-in user. The acquisitions module is mostly unchanged in version 3.1. Watch out for exciting improvements coming in future versions. You will notice some improved functionality. Example, when you're using the view place order function in the catalog, the bib details will always show. And when you're looking at claim ready items, your claim vouchers will print consistently. Thank you for watching this video, and for more information, please visit the BC Libraries Cooperative website.